Hey, how are you? Yasmin Haj over here. In this short video, I'm going to read you a couple of pages of my first book. It's called Build Your Fortune, and it is based on my patented financial system that you can use and apply in your life with your money and your finances to build up a fortune. I've got my mineral water handy if I get thirsty, and are you ready? I am ready, and if you are, then let's get started. And I will now start reading it to you, so you can see without buying it if you like it, and then if you do, you can buy it as an ebook or as a paperback, and soon also as an audio book. Okay, well then here we go. Book Build Your Fortune. In this book you will discover and learn there is enough money in the world, the pay yourself first rule, 10% of everything, the secret of success, trend which is important to you, preparation, systematically building it up, your results after 10 years, and the second secret of success. Okay, next page. Before we begin, there should be something here like if you want to buy financial products, you should seek a professional, someone who works at a bank or whatever. And the author is not responsible for your decisions and money, which is bullshit. Because even though it's a nice way to prevent yourself from being sued, it would also mean that I do not believe in my work and in what I write. So that's not gonna be here. If you want to sue me, go ahead. But I will give you a guarantee. If you are not satisfied with my book, send it back to me, and I will give you back the money that you paid for it, guaranteed. And even if it's an ebook, I believe that you can still get a refund on that. So there's nothing to worry about. I am primarily a businessman because I've started my second company in September the 1st in 2015, and I still run it every day, and I have to do what I say or write. That is important if you are in selling, or if you have your own company, to do what you say or what you write. In other words, to keep your word. because I have a good reputation and want to keep it good. Okay, next page. You should know that I write a non-fiction. This is reassurance for you. Non-fiction. Because I earn my money as a salesperson, I am not dependent on people buying my books. And this means that I don't have to make up wonderful stories and make false promises. I write from my life and my business experiences, just the facts. To give you the best experience, there will be a short bio of me so that you know, so that you get to know me a little better. And then I will tell you how and why this book came into existence. And then after that you get to read the book, in this case to listen to it being read by me. And after that, you get your surprise, which I included to over-deliver and delight you. Okay, are you still with me so far? We are now on the next page, and it says the bio of author Yasmin Hairo. Nice to meet you, and there's a little picture of me. Hello dear reader, how are you? Thank you for buying one of my books. My name is Yasmin Hairo. I was born on July the 6th, 1985 in Bosnia. As refugees we came to the Netherlands 21 years ago. After having completed school and worked at several jobs, on December 17th, 2012, I founded my first company, investment firm Yasko. After a successful first year, I unfortunately had to close that company. Then, after a short period of rest, unemployment and temporary work, I started again as an entrepreneur. On September the 1st, 2015, I founded establishment Hairo. We say establishment instead of company because we do a bit more than just sell stuff, like providing jobs, donating to 40 different charities, and helping people to live richer. Since the beginning, the core activity is selling sets of greeting cards door to door. Nowadays, the product range has been expanded with, among other things, the selling of my 23 books. The royalties of my books are donated to the charity Foundation Give It Life. From there, more than 40 other charities receive donations. And by buying this book, so you become a donator to charity. Thank you. My company is now part of Hairo Group, which consists of 19 different subsidiaries that are part of one umbrella organization called Energy Now. In Dutch it's called Energie. For more information about my company and the foundation that we now both support, go to www.ajrob.nl or at our other website, which is www.ajrobar in the middle global.webnode.nl. Okay, and we go to the next page. How this book came into existence. In 2007, I started working at a restaurant as a dishwasher. I lived with my mother and had no living expenses. I earned about €1,000 per month, so I had enough money in savings. At my work, I learned to work in the kitchen and worked my way up. Then I learned that my savings were not actually growing with the interest because inflation was as high as my interest. I did a home course called Wiser with Money, then a home course, if you translate it, it is called Stock Exchanges and Investing. I also read books on finance, and somewhere I learned that for retirement, if you live in a foreign country for a couple of years or are an immigrant, when you retire, you will get a pension cut because you don't have a complete working or employment history of 47 years. This meant that my parents were screwed when they retire, because they are immigrants and will only have worked in the Netherlands for about 20 years. How would they survive with a half pension? When they're old and can't work anymore, and when they should be enjoying life. Next page. Then I decided to become rich. I had to, so I can give them a decent pension. So I went on with educating myself on finance. I read more books on finance, started investing in mutual funds, in bonds and stocks, and made some profit and also lost some money. No problem, I was learning, but I was also exhausting myself because I also worked full-time in the kitchen. So I started looking for a better way that would cost me less time and energy. And through thinking about how to do it better, I came up with a system. When I started a company to invest professionally for clients, I applied for a patent to protect my financial system. It's kind of outside the intention of this book, but if you want to know what happened, my company Jasco had about 1,600 euros in the portfolio. If I made a 20% return on that, I could pay the promised return to my clients, which I did, and buy a present for myself. But it was not enough to make a living, and then I also had no clue about selling, which is required to get new clients, and and I had to close the company, which hurted because it was my baby. But now I have the experience. Now I've received the patent for my invention, the financial system, and you can see it at the next page. Because this is an audio book, I can't show it to you, but I have posted more videos on YouTube, some introductions to get for the people and for the readers to get to know me a little better. And in one of them I talk about my work now in sales, and about my writing, and I also show how my desk looks like, and I have my patent on my desk, and in that video you can see that patent. So you just go to YouTube and look it up, and you will see it. Okay, so now the next page. Well, I gave you my bio so that you know me a little better. I have told you how and why this book came into existence. And now is the time for you to read the book, and in this case to listen to it while I read it to you. Remember that I write doing books, which means that I describe actions that you can take and from them get results. Don't worry, it doesn't take a lot of your time, and I have kept it simple. Okay, next page. The good news. Money keeps flowing into your life, money continues to flow, money keeps circulating. Money has done this for hundreds of years, and money will continue to do this for hundreds of years. Since you first received your pocket money, since you were paid for your first job, since your student loan money began to come in, since your job started paying your monthly salary, since your business became profitable, all those times money kept flowing into your life every month, even to people with social welfare. Thank God. Fortunately, money keeps coming in regularly, there is enough money in the world. Should it be necessary, then more money will be made, or actually printed, or however they do it. But this is the good news. The first chapter is important, because if there was not enough money in the world, then how would you become rich? And so this chapter points out that there is more than enough of it, and if there would be needed more, that more money could be easily made or printed. So, but you know that that is true. The banks, for example, they are full of money. There are so many of course there are rich people, and there are so many like investment funds and trusts and that kind of things that are just filled with money. So and it points out that also even those people who are dependent on the government for their welfare, that even the money flows into their life every month. So there is more than enough of it for your abundance mindset. And then on the next page you see a little fortune, and then on the next page the pay yourself first rule. It means that when you receive your money, you first pay yourself, for example by saving 10% of it. To clarify the results of saving 10% of your money, we will make an example calculation. For example, you earn $3,000 per month and you pay yourself first. In other words, you save 10% of your income. That is $300 per month. A year has obviously 12 months, so after 1 year you have 12 times that's $300 that you save. That's 10% of your salary. Then after a year, 12 times that amount will add up to $3,600. After 1 year, you have saved a whole month's salary. If you save 10% every month, how much will you have after 10 years? Then $3,600 times 10 years is $36,000. So after 10 years you'll have $36,000 saved, or a whole year's salary in your savings account. How about that? Later on in this book you'll see how to make that money that you save every month grow faster. Okay, and on the next page you see that little fortune again. By the way, this is not in the book, but I want to add it anyway, and to tell you that it's if you don't earn $3,000 a month, that doesn't matter. no matter what you earn, you can always save 10% of your earnings. So that was just a example. And if you earn 1,000 a month, you save 10% of that. That would be $100 every month. If you earn 2,000, you save 10% of that, and that will be $200 every month. And after a year, that would be a nice amount. And after 10 and after 20 years, that would be even a nicer amount. So just do it no matter how much you earn. Then 10% of everything. It is important that when you first pay yourself by saving 10%, that you save 10% of everything. Of course, 10% of your income or your salary, but also 10% of the tips if you get any. Also 10% of your allowances. Also 10% of your 13th month. And if you don't receive a 13th month, but you do receive here in the Netherlands, people who have like jobs, and many years ago when I had one, somewhere in May we received this like vacation money, for like a holiday money. That's also something like a 13th month. So perhaps in America or wherever you live, you also have something like that. And when you receive that extra money, you also, the first thing to do for you is to save 10% of that. Okay, and also save 10% of your bonus if you get a bonus. Also 10% of your wage increase. Also 10% of your tax refund if you get any money back from the taxes. And then first save 10% of that, and also 10% of your welcome premium. Here in the Netherlands, if you like for your gas and electricity, if you would switch from a supplier, then sometimes and you stay with the new supplier for a year, then after that year the new supplier will give you about 100 euros or something as a welcome premium. So perhaps where you live they also do something like that. And then if you receive that, the first thing to do with it is to save 10% of it. Okay, from which angle or from whom you receive your money, the first thing you do is to pay yourself first by saving 10% of it. Is it simple? Is it easy to do? You receive your salary or your paycheck once a month. So this month you only have to do one thing, and when you receive your money, you transfer 10% of that to your savings account, preferably a savings account with another bank, so that you are not tempted to spend it, for example. You can also do that. But it's simple, right? And it doesn't take you a lot of time. Okay, the secret of success. The secret of success is persistence. If it takes 20 years for you to become a millionaire, if that means that it requires of you 20 years of working and saving and investing, then you have to persist 20 years with working and saving and investing, and not quitting after 5 years. Persist until you reach your goal. Okay, then on the next page you again see the little fortune, and on the page after that it says the second secret of success is what you do with your time. So do not go watch television for hours, but start earning money, and deal with people who earn a lot of money, so that you learn from them to earn even more money, and that money will start to work hard for you according to this system that you are learning. Okay, then on the next page you again see the little fortune that you also want to have, and that you will build with this system. The next page, the person who will make you rich, the one who will build your fortune, is you. Therefore, take good care of yourself, so you can keep on persisting for a long time until you reach your goal. Then on the next page you again see the little fortune, and on the page after that the trend. Because people live longer nowadays, they need money for a longer period of time. Many people build up income for later with dividend paying and interest bearing investments. This will increase the value of those kind of investments over time. The part of your money that you are going to invest will grow because of this trend. On the next page you're going to see the little fortune, and then on the page after that, bonds explained. If you if you buy a bond, you actually lend money to a company or to a government, and you get an interest for this, which is paid to you annually. A bond usually costs around $1,000, and some bonds have a certain duration, for example 10 years. If this bond gives you 5% interest with a duration time of 10 years, and you buy this bond, then you get the upcoming 10 years $50 in interest every year. After that 10 years, you get your deposit, that's $1,000 back. Some bonds have no duration in years mentioned. There is a P mentioned, the abbreviation for perpetual, which means eternal. These perpetual bonds pay interest annually for eternity, as long as the organization that issues them still exists. That can be hundreds of years. You buy a bond once and get $50 in interest each year for the next 50 years of longer, without having to do anything else for it. That is better, is it not? Okay, on the next page you see the little fortune again. And on the page after that, chapter preparation. Before you start building your own fortune, we must do the preparation first. The preparation consists of three things. 1. Have your will prepared by a notary. This is not fun, but it's important, so that when you're gone, there are no ambiguities or misunderstandings about what you leave behind and to whom. The second thing, make sure you are well insured. Get the insurance that you need and think that you will need, such as a term life insurance policy and funeral insurance, so that when you're gone, your surviving relatives do not get stuck with those costs, and still have to arrange things. But that everything is already well arranged. Try to get all your insurance policies from one or two providers, so that you get a discount on your insurance package. Number 3. Open the following 3 accounts. The first, savings account, the second, deposit account, and the third, an investment account. Note, with deposit account is meant a banking account on which you can fix a savings amount of money for 1 to 20 years, which pays you interest annually and gives back your savings amount after the duration period ends, which you yourself pick. If you want your savings amount back before duration ends, you get a fine. Okay, on the next page you see the Wheel of Fortune again, and then chapter systematically building it up. You will systematically on these 3 accounts build your own fortune with the amount of your income that you save every month. Remember that 10%, if you, like in our previous example, save per month $300, that's if you were earning 3,000, then you would divide that $300 over your 3 banking accounts. You put 1/3 in saving, so you put $100 in your savings account, 1/3 into deposit, so you put $100 in your deposit account, and 1/3 in your investing account. So you put $100 in your investment account. Half of your investment account money you invest in a dividend yielding mutual fund, and the other half you invest in an interest yielding bonds mutual fund. For example, $50 you put in the NN Utilities Fund, and $50 you put in the Triodos Sustainable Bond Fund. You can leave it that way all year round without having to worry about it. You see, you just divide, you first save 10%, and then you divide it into 3 parts over your 3 accounts, and in your investment account you put half in a mutual fund that pays dividends, and the other half you put in a mutual fund that pays interest. Okay, after that year you will receive interest from your savings account, of course, and interest from your deposit account. Here in the Netherlands, if you have this deposit account, which they call deposito, you put money into that account, and then for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years or longer, you don't have access to that money, and they pay more interest on that deposito. And I believe that in America or wherever you live, they also have such a thing. If you have saved 10%, you divide it in 3/3, a third for every of your 3 accounts. Then the money in your investment account, the half of that you put into a mutual fund that pays dividends, and the other half you put in a mutual fund that pays interest. Then after those steps, you are done. You can leave it like that for the whole year or for 10 years. And while you leave it like that, after a year, you will receive interest from your savings account, and you will receive interest from your deposit account, and you will also receive dividend and interest from your investment account. And then on the next page, this money works now for you. That's how you let it grow. You also get over the years the interest on interest effect, which makes it grow faster. Okay, on the next page you see the little fortune again, and on the page after that, every month. Next month you pay yourself first. That's the rule. When you receive your money, your salary, or your paycheck, the first thing you do with it is to save 10% of it. And this amount, in this example, is the $300. You divide again over your three banking accounts, or well, we should actually call them your three fortune accounts, but okay. Okay, so 1/3 goes to saving, so $100 you put in your savings account, 1/3 goes into deposito, so $100 into your deposit account, and 1/3 into investing, so $100 into your investment account. You already see here that because it is divided in three parts, and here in the Netherlands, savings up to 100,000, I believe, per person per bank are like guaranteed by this institute. Perhaps that's also the case in where you live, and for the deposito it's also the same. For investing, that is not in the case, but what I wanted to say is that already here you see that it is divided into three parts, and that you only have like a risk with 1/3 of your money, and you that's that part that you are going to invest, that will also go into mutual funds, and eventually you will buy some bonds, but the risk that you have will be minimalized because you will invest in mutual funds. One mutual fund invests in about 100 companies worldwide, and if a few of them don't do well, the other 80 or 90 will. So there's not really much to worry about, and because it's only 1/3 of your savings, the risk is even smaller. Okay, so half of your investment account money you invest in a dividend yielding real estate mutual fund, and the other half you invest in an interest yielding bonds mutual fund. For example, $50 in the BNP High Income Property Fund and $50 in the NN Global Bond Fund. In total, you now have $200 in your savings account, $200 in your deposito account, and $200 in your investment account. The money in your investment account is equally divided over 4 mutual funds. This means for you that you receive annual interest on your savings account and that you receive annual interest on your deposito account and that you receive annual dividend and annual interest on your investment account every year. Are you still with me? Do you understand it? I've made it so simple as possible. As you probably have noticed by now, that it would to do those 4 or 5 steps, it will take you only about an hour, a month or so, or half an hour. And in this example, where you have $200 in your savings account and $200 in your deposito account and $200 in your investment account, which is divided in 4 parts, and which is then invested in 4 different mutual funds. One mutual fund can be invested in about 50 or 100 or more companies. So by being with your $200 invested in 4 different mutual funds, you have invested in about 200 or even more companies, and because of that, your risk is very, very small, and that is good. So you don't have to worry about it, and you can just do the steps, put it in there, and just leave it, and you can get on with your life. Okay, then on the next page, the next month you do the same 3 steps again. Step 1, you save 10% of your income, of your paycheck or your salary. Step 2, that 10%, in our example, that's $300, you divide over your 3 accounts, a third into your savings account, a third into your deposito account, and a third into your investment account. Step 3, the amount that goes into your investment account, you divide in 2, and 1/2 of that you invest in a dividend yielding mutual fund or a dividend yielding real estate mutual fund, and the other half of that you invest in an interest yielding bonds mutual fund. And then the next month you do the same 3 steps again, and then you do the same 3 steps each month. And then you see the little fortune again, and on the page after that, why not put everything in your investing account? It is very important that you stick to the described dividing. With this dividing, you only risk a third of your money, but by having that part that you risk spread well with those mutual funds, you will reduce the risk. Mutual funds are already spread in themselves, like I told you. A mutual fund is invested in 50, 100 or more companies, which reduces your risk dramatically. The amount which you pay yourself first every month, that's 10% that you save, always divide it into your 3 accounts as below. 1/3 of that 10% goes into your savings account, 1/3 of that 10% goes into your depository account, and 1/3 of that 10% goes into your investing account. It is wise to also divide your investments in mutual funds by category as below. So 1/3 into stocks mutual funds, 1/3 into bonds mutual funds, and 1/3 into real estate mutual funds. And choose mutual funds that pay you dividends or interest. Okay, so how do you like this book so far? It's this promotional video of it has turned out a lot longer than I had planned, but maybe that's a good thing, because I've read a couple of chapters to you. I've also added and explained some things that are not that I had not written in the book, so that you can better understand it, and perhaps it's not an issue that it's longer than I had planned, because now you have a much better idea and much better understanding of this book, and if it's a good book for you, or for someone that you know. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. and below the video I will add a link to where you can find this book as an ebook, and also where you can find it as a paperback. And when the complete audio book is ready, I will also add a link to where you can get it as an audio book. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that the sound quality is good, and I also hope that you could keep paying attention, because I talk a bit slow, I think, and but if you like Les Brown has said, some people only you can help because they will only respond to your voice. So if you are one of those people, then it does not matter that this is not the greatest video ever. It gets the message across to you, and now knowing so much more about this book that I am very proud of, and that I really truly believe can help a lot of people. So you know much more about it, and you can make a more intelligent decision if it is a good book for you. Yeah, like I said, I will below the video I will add all the links to the different versions of the book, and I hope you like it. I also hope that you share it, and I hope that a year or so from now that you leave me a little message about how you how you got the book, read it, how you did the steps, and how it has helped you to have a lot of more money, and how that money works for you, and how it has helped you to live better, and to build a better life and a better future. Yeah, I will also add my email address so that you can get in touch with me. Okay, so thanks again, and we'll keep in touch. Okay. Bye bye.